Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the NJ Podcast. This podcast aims to share stories, tips, and insights about achieving success while having fun. From topics ranging from personal development to business, entertainment, and sports, the podcast will have conversations with experts and people in their respective fields. The podcast will also share insights from Jablo James's published and upcoming books. The tagline, which is the theme of the podcast, is "Success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal." This means that you are doing what you have always wanted to do because it is aligned with your highest values, and this is the only way you can live a truly fulfilled life. Your host, Jablo James.
Hey everyone, this is NJ, the host of the NJ Podcast, and welcome to another episode on the segment, The Foolishness of Preaching. This is where we talk about the gospel of Jesus Christ and how it can make your life better. As is custom on the show, we're going to start with a story. There was a man who walked into a shop to get his watch fixed. He told the watch repairman that it was an antique, passed down from his great-grandfather, his great-great-grandfather, and it was most precious to him. The watchmaker looked at the watch and then looked back at the man. "Sir," he said with a grin, "this watch is not an antique. I sold it to you 3 years ago." Sometimes what we think is beyond repair only requires a bit of fine-tuning. Isn't it amazing how God sees us in much the same way? No matter how broken, how worn out, how used up we may feel, God sees us as something precious that He longs to restore. Our scripture for today's sermon is found in Joel 2, verse 25 to 26. "I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten. You shall eat in plenty and be satisfied, and praise the name of the Lord your God, who has dealt wondrously with you." In these verses, God promises restoration to His people after a period of devastation and loss. This promise of restoration is not just about recovering what we lost, but a complete renewal and improvement of their condition. And that is the title for today's sermon, Having a Restoration Mentality. What is a restoration mentality? Firstly, having a restoration mentality means acknowledging our brokenness. In Psalm 51, verse 17, David said, "The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart, O God, you will not despise." David recognized his brokenness and humbly came before God. In this place of brokenness that God begins His work of restoration. Secondly, having a restoration mentality involves trusting in God's power and desire to restore us. Jeremiah 17 verse 14 says, "Heal me, Lord, and I will be healed. Save me, and I will be saved, for you are the one I praise." Jeremiah expressed his total trust in God's ability to restore him. Thirdly, having a restoration mentality means being patient. Restoration is a process and it takes time. But as we remain patient and faithful, God's promises will unfold. Habakkuk 2 verse 3 reminds us, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it may tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." Finally, having a restoration mentality involves actively participating in the process. We can't just sit back and expect God to do all the work. We have to do our part as well, as James 2 verse 26 says, "For as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also." God can restore us, but He requires our active participation in the process. So, brothers and sisters, today I encourage you, no matter what you've been through, no matter how broken and worn out you feel, have a restoration mentality. God, our great God, is in the business of restoring his people. And he longs to restore you. In your brokenness, he sees something precious. In your weariness, he sees strength that can be renewed. In your despair, he sees hope that can be revived. And in your emptiness, he sees a vessel that can be filled. Remember, we serve a God of restoration, and he wants to restore you. Embrace that restoration mentality and watch God transform your life. May God bless you all.
Thank you for joining us on this episode on the NJ Podcast. Make sure to visit the website, the njpodcast.captivateair.fm, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, all the other podcast platforms, or via RSS so you never miss a show. You can also find the video content on the YouTube channel and Instagram page. That will be Njabulo James on YouTube and njabulo.j.ngosi for Instagram. Please subscribe and follow on those platforms as well. And while you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on the podcast platforms, or if you'd like to tell a friend about the show, that will help us out too. If you'd like more information about published or upcoming books, visit www.njabulojames.com for more information. Please reach out if you would like to share what you would like to hear and which guests should be invited to the show. And remember, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, which means that you are doing what you have always wanted to do because it is aligned with your highest values, and this is the only way you can live a truly fulfilled life. Now just chill until the next episode.